There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM. With even more exclusive content, with over 150 channels in your vehicle, including the widest, deepest variety of music, ad-free. Root for your team. Get news. Listen to whatever makes you laugh. And hear all about your favorite stars. Your Platinum Plan offer includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels filled with music and enjoy favorite shows with SiriusXM Video. Thousands of hours of shows and performances on demand. What you love is on now.
So in the world of mobile video, ACCELE Electronics has literally been at the forefront of the category since its inception. Today, we're lucky enough to be joined by President Allen Arzoumanian as we go through the latest innovations and product offering from ACCELE in the mobile video category. This is CMA Connected, presented by SiriusXM, ACCELE Electronics, and it starts now. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to this CMA Connected presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. And on today's episode, we're going to be diving deep into the world of mobile video with a brand that literally has been there since the very beginning, always providing innovative solutions for the mobile video consumer. Now, dealers have obviously know about ACCELE Electronics as they don't only focus on mobile video, but we can certainly argue that is one of the categories that certainly got the brand its start in the beginning and certainly had built a lot of notoriety around that. Now, if you're thinking about it, mobile video, is it still relevant today? Well, this is an important question that we're going to definitely dive deep on and get the answers while making sure you know everything that's available today, right now, from the ACCELE Electronics catalog. But before we do that, we're definitely got to bring in our product expert today, and we're blessed enough today to be joined by the president himself, Mr. Allen Arzoumanian from ACCELE Electronics. Please welcome him to the studio.
Hi, how you guys doing?
Hey, Allen, thanks for taking the time and joining us today.
No problem. Excited to show you, what we're doing and get you going on some of the new technologies we're working on.
That's amazing. I remember we did have a previous session once where you came on and kind of talked to us about all the technology with Bueller relays and all that stuff. But I think today we're going to focus our conversation on the mobile video segment. And on that note, I would like to hear your opinion. I mean, Allen, you've been in this game for quite some time. You've seen its beginning, its evolution, and where it's headed, perhaps. And we're going to touch on that. But right now, from a dealer perspective and a market perspective, how important is mobile video to the 12-volt specialty retailer?
I think it's very important because everything's gone video. As you can tell, all the OE manufacturers, they included cameras into their vehicles as well as the mobile entertainment systems that they have in there. And we've seen, a little slack off because as soon as the OE introduced their products, there was a little slack time. But then the aftermarket came in with bigger screens. So when the OE was offering 7 or 8 inch screens, we were offering, 12, 15, 17 inch screens. So there's always a market to be created as long as we're staying ahead of the curve in, knowing what we should do to get the customer to come into the 12-volt retailer.
Yeah, that's amazing. And, although the OE market has certainly upped the ante as far as integrated screens within their dashes and from factory, let's not forget there's a ton of business to be done in the back seat for rear seat entertainment as well.
Oh yes, and not to mention all the different vehicles that are still out there, that didn't have any of the options to be able to put it in from the factory. So it's a very, very big market still.
Continues to be lucrative, no doubt. And apparently you might have some solutions to some of these, needs and wants from customers for some of these vehicles. And we're going to talk about them today. We've got a lot to cover. So I'm going to ask you your personal opinion before we get started. What are you most excited to present today?
It's related to the mobile video. We're trying to do is incorporate the more commercial vehicles into the mix. Actually, I'm going to be showing you a product that nobody's even seen yet. We're actually going to do the e-blast tomorrow. We usually do it on Thursdays. So it's a on glass 7-inch monitor that has 4 video inputs. And we include in the kit a camera for the front and to the back of the vehicle. And the one in the front is continuously recording for documentation purposes. If there's any accidents or anybody cuts you off, you got physical proof of what transpired. And everything is built into the mirror itself. So
Wow.
it's really exciting.
Dash cam functionality incorporated within.
Yes, yes, and the beauty is it's flexible, where it has 4 video ends, so you can add left and right on top of the front and back that comes with it. So it makes it very flexible. But the main thing is installation. You just replace the original factory mirror with our 7-inch. Now, most people say 7-inch. Well, most of the people think, oh, 7-inch, they got those little narrow things. You call them 7-inch because they're so far across. We're talking about a real 16:9 7-inch, which is perfect for commercial applications.
Very nice. So you're actually talking diagonal length and not
Yes.
just the width across. Very
Yeah,
good.
exactly.
Very
Because
exciting.
a lot of them, they go 7, 8-inch, but you look at it, it's really a 3.5 inch.
Well, that's very exciting news, and we are very excited to be able to host this launch. And I'm sure our listeners will be very interested to hear what that's all about. So, having said that, we're going to set you up so that we understand you have a presentation we want to put up. We'll give you the opportunity to go through that presentation. And when we come back, don't go away because we've got both ACCELE distributors in the studio with us today. We have Romesh from Importel, as well as Jaron from BB, the BB Distribution, that will be joining us afterwards. We're going to pick their brains a little bit about what they're seeing as far as trends go in the market with mobile video, and we'll have a discussion about it afterwards. But for now, Allen, please, by all means, you have the stage, sir.
Okay. Let's see here. Let's go to that's our website, obviously, accele.com. This is a unit that we're going to have in about 4 weeks. It's brand new. You can see it's a flip down. It's an actual 17.3-inch widescreen, and it's full HD. And you can see the thickness of that thing is very thin. And if you notice, there are no connections on the side of the flip down. Generally speaking, the normal flip downs, they have connections for USB or HDMI. This one has nothing. So what we do is we include an extension of the HDMI and USB cables that are found on top of this flip down. So the installer can custom install that pod somewhere in the center column, center pillar, or wherever he wants. That's very convenient for the user. Because generally speaking, when you have to put in cables, let's say to your HDMI, it's hanging from the flip down. With this one, it looks more custom and more clean. And it'll be available in the color that you see, and also in tan color, so 2 colors, but very thin and full HD. Okay, you can see some of the writings there, some of the specs that we have on there. Let's go to our next product. Just to give you a little history, this is the world's first video on demand wireless system that we developed in 2015. This is exactly the same thing, more or less, as what you find in airplanes. So you can have multiple users, up to 6 users, being able to play whatever movie they want, stop, pause, forward, back, at any time. And they're all full HD. And if you notice, the server has the beams coming out of it, because each one of these parts require only 2 wires for installation. So the actual headrest monitor, which goes on the back seat, or it could be on the back of the headrest, is wireless. So that means all you need is power ground to one seat, power ground to the other seat, and then the black box you see is the wireless server. Now that is Wi-Fi. So you could put that anywhere. As you can see, it's very small. You could put it underneath the seat, in the glove box. You can even put that in your trunk and be able to serve up to 6 monitors in that same vehicle. This was a very big hit when we first introduced it in 2015. And it's been a good seller since then. Uh, Now, this came after the very first monitor that I don't know if most people know this, but ACCELE made the world's first headrest monitor in 1995. And until 1997 or early 98, we really did not have any competition. And at the peak, like in the year 2000, 2005, we had over 140 different monitors. Now we have over 100 different monitors, LCDs, from anywhere from, 3-inch to 32-inch in metal housings, in flip downs. Our bestseller right now, actually, we're having a problem supplying, is a full 22-inch widescreen flip down with DVD built in. And for some reason, I don't know, people want bigger and bigger, and we didn't think it was going to be that big of a hit. It's been too big of a hit, and so we're having problems supplying them right now. Okay, let's go to our next product. This is a new item coming in. It's not in yet. What it is if you have a vehicle, let's say it's an older vehicle that has a AM/FM radio, but it's a factory radio that goes on the dash, and there's really no easy way to put a doubled in, or you don't want to spend the money to put a doubled in and buy a kit and do all the installation. This unit is actually an Android and has multiple ways of mounting, as you can see there. You can put it on the dash, you could put it onto the glass, you can put it on top of the dash, and it's got Wi-Fi mirroring capability. So it can mirror your phone. So let's say I do have an older car and I don't want to use my small phone, for navigation. I can mirror the Google Maps with traffic onto this big 7-inch screen wirelessly. And you could do that with Android also. And how cool would it be if you're trying to entertain yourself when you're parked or waiting, whatever? You can put in your own USB or micro SD movie or whatever you need on there. And the audio can go through the speaker it has it built in, or it has an FM modulator, so you can transmit that actually directly to your radio. So you can have a nice stereo sound and have a nice 7-inch screen. And being portable, you can move it from car to car. And for security, of course, if you take it out of your car, there's nothing to see or to steal. It does have a auxiliary output, 3.5. If you don't want to use FM, you want a higher quality sound, you can go directly right into your 3.5 input on your OE radio. This, I think, is going to be big because of the cost factor, but more importantly, this addresses a market that nobody has touched yet, and that is the person who doesn't want to spend a ton of money, but he wants to have a safe large screen for navigation, or you want some entertainment. You can put anywhere in the car. You can even put this in the back seat for the kids, but it's totally portable. And you can hardwire it, or you can use the provided SIG adapter that comes with the unit. So this is something that's coming in, and that I think I'm pretty excited with, because on the low end of the market is a huge market that people just don't want to go and change everything in their vehicles. Okay, now this is the item I was telling you about that we're going to do the blast on. You're the first ones to see this. So you can see the mirror here itself is the same thing you have in the picture there. It has a built-in DVR, and it has a quad processor that can also do a split screen. So you can have left, right, you can have front, back, whatever you want. And it comes with, this is the front camera. As you can see, it's a suction cup you just put on there, and you can adjust the angle. And of course, you'd have the wire going up to the headliner. And so what happens is the unit is constantly recording 1080p as you're driving, and it's always going in a loop. And if there's ever an accident, you have documentation to prove, who cut off who or what happened. And as far as the backup camera is, we, I think, have a better solution because all these cameras, car specific, too many things to stock. Nobody wants to stock too many different, specific cameras. Check this out. All metal design. It's a top looking down. So what happens is you can put this on top of a Sprinter or anything you want, and it's inobtrusive. It doesn't stand out that much. And this is high resolution also, full HD or 720p. Now, both these cameras come in the kit, the front and the back, that it records automatically the front, and when you're backing up, it'll record the backup camera as well. So you have documentation anytime the car is moving forward or going backwards. And since the unit has 4 inputs, it's got using aviation connectors, as you know, is the easiest and safest way to do the wiring on these. And of course, we have trigger wires too for all 4 cameras. Makes it very easy because all you have to do is glass mount your monitor. Everything is in here. Hook up your cameras and you're done. And using like the latest nice camera and this new method of doing it, so it's universal, and also being so small, it's so unobtrusive that it's kind of vandal proof, if you may want to call it, because it's all metal and it's so far up on the van because we're looking down. We're not putting this underneath the license plate or on top of the license plate. So it's not visible, it's clean, and it works. So that's the piece that we're excited about, and this is the one that we're going to do a blast on to all our customer base on tomorrow morning. And one thing I did mention was it does do split screen, so you could do left, right, or you could do front, back, or when you put in the additional cameras to the left and right, you can do quad, showing all 4 cameras at the same time. So let's move on. Now, this piece, we're going to do the blast, and it will be available for ordering tomorrow. Okay, the next piece is, this is a headrest monitor, as you can see. The only nice thing about it is it's very clean looking. It does have HDMI input. And you can see the mounting, it's very adaptable to any vehicle headrest. You can see it, you can put in any kind of post, you can adjust it, and you can change the angle in it. It's got the FM modulator built in, and it has a 2-channel IR transmitter. So you can use, 2 different people using different content while they're playing and driving down the street and the roads. And it has a DVD, obviously, and the HDMI input, it's obviously for if you have an adapter or your phone itself has HDMI output, you can go directly into the monitor. So instead of using your small screen, you could use a 7-inch, 9-inch, which is a little bigger than the 7-inch. So it's a big difference from what your screen on your phone is to a 9-inch on in front of you, where you don't have to hold anything. It's right there in front. And as you know, you always want to be able to look at a monitor up high in a vehicle because what happens is your eyes should see the horizon and see, what the vehicle is doing. A long time ago, just FYI, we had a monitor we were putting into the center consoles. So the kids would sit in the back seat and they would share this one monitor looking down. And guess what happens? It was a big problem because the kids are constantly looking down. They were getting sick. you know, that they're getting seasick, like on a being on a boat, because they can't see the horizon. The vehicle's moving, and they're watching the screen here. They don't see the horizon, and it was not a good program, and we discontinued that right after we started it. So you want to keep the monitors up, like in the headrest or in the flip down. Never put it too far low. And of course, it has an SD card player. You could play videos on there, whatever you need. And I think that's about it. Let's go to the next product. Okay, the headrest monitor you just saw. We have a, you know, obviously you need a wireless headphone. I think we have the best one on the market. As you can see, uh, it folds flat, so you can put it behind the seat compartments, so it doesn't bulge out. And it does have all the other features you see there. The first one is lays flat. It's got auto mute. So if there's no IR signal, it turns off by itself in 10 minutes. So the battery's not going to be dead. It's got noise reduction. And it has, let's say somehow the battery dies and you're stuck, you still want to be able to use the headphone. There is a 3.5 millimeter jack on the bottom of the unit where you can plug in 3.5 to 3.5 and still have it work, even if the batteries are dead. And by the way, I think we're one of the few people that actually give you the batteries in the box. Well, the box itself will have the monitor. Just to give you an idea, here, see how flat it lays down there. I can show you this real quick. And fully adjustable from the smallest one. We've tried these on small kids to, you know, big adults. You can have it be very big. People with big heads appreciate this. Okay, so let's go to the next item. This is a video filter. And most people are saying now, what does that mean? Well, it's not a video amplifier. This is actually a video filter. What it does is it filters out noise, not amplifies noise. It actually takes it out. And then it stabilizes the picture. If you can see those pictures there where you have the picture moving left, right, or up, down, it actually puts a clean sync in there so it doesn't do that. And at the same time, it of course, it amplifies the video signal. So this is not a regular unit. This is not cheap, but I will tell you, we buy this from a factory that's made in Japan. It is a very, very high quality piece. If you ever have a problem and you can't get rid of the noise or the picture is not stable, this is the way to go. I would urge everybody to keep this in mind. And whenever you do have an issue, call your distributor and ask for the video filter. Now, as you can see, it's available in one video output, and we have another one that has one video in with 6 video out. So that's if you have multiple monitors in the car. It could be an SUV with a third row, or it could be a van, or whatever the case. Some people actually use this for their displays, you know, if they have multiple monitors running on the same unit. So that's a pretty important thing to keep in mind. And the last thing is we are developing a unit that is AM/FM DVD with Bluetooth, but it has one other thing, or actually 2 other things. As you can see, there's a 1/4-inch jack in the front. That is for for the driver to use that as a PA microphone plug-in. This is for commercial applications, for buses, vans, could be minivans, like you want to announce something. And the reason we have two mic inputs is the one in the front is for a regular plug-in you can use, and there's a secondary mic on the back of the unit, and that is designed because we sell to tour bus manufacturers, and the tour bus people want to have a person that wants to talk about what scenery they're seeing. They have a wireless headphone that they can attach to the back of this unit. So you can have two mics working at the same time. And the bus driver's mic has the priority. So when he keys off, it turns off the tour guide's mic. When you let go, the tour guide, the mic is active now. So you have two mics built in. Other than that, it's a standard AM/FM radio. It's got also Bluetooth for communications. And you can see the picture on top is a external mic for the Bluetooth. As you know from experience, you don't want to use a mic that's built into a DIN unit. So you could run that up closer to where the driver is, and you will not lose any audio quality. It'll be almost like you have the handset in your hand. This unit with the two mics, because the one we have right now is one mic. The two mic will be available in about 4 weeks, and it has some extra triggers in the back. It has AV in, AV out, and it has a little more power than standard units, about 20% more, because in some commercial applications, you've got more than a couple or left-right speakers. You have 4 on each side. So we're accommodating that with the use of an additional power for the speakers. And again, this will be available, I would say, probably 2 to 4 weeks. And I think that's about it on our presentation today.
I must say, Alan, I was very attentive during your entire presentation, and I really appreciate the well thought out selection of products you brought to the table today. Very unique product for specific applications, especially like that last radio that you just presented. And certainly there's a couple in there that I want to circle back and talk about. But I'm going to hold off my notes because we do have some special guests in the back studio that I want to bring on and kind of get their feedback and their testimonial. And at the end, we're going to circle back and we'll be able to have a discussion on everything we just learned today. So thank you so much.
No problem.
Right. That was Alan, president of ACCELE, showing us how it's done, launching a brand new product with that rear view mirror that I definitely will ask him a little bit more about. But in the meantime, we requested the presence of the 2 Canadian distributors for ACCELE within Canada, one of them being Importel and the other being BB Distribution. We're going to start with Importel. He's no stranger to the CMA studio. Of course, let's bring in Romesh from Importel. Got some questions to ask him. Romesh, what's going on, bud?
Hello. Hey, Ben.
How are you?
I'm very good. How are you? Thanks for having us on.
Oh, of course. We're talking mobile video. We're talking ACCELE. Importel, of course, one of the distributors for ACCELE.
Absolutely.
Pretty cool stuff that Alan dropped on us today. We're going to just hold your comments on that.
I was like, what?
Yeah, I didn't even know about it. You didn't know about
Right.
it. It's cool. We're going to circle back. What are some of the trends that you're seeing, though, right? Mobile video is a category that, again, has been around for a long time, but has changed so much. The needs have changed, and you're always on the call with customers. So I thought it'd be a good idea to kind of ask you, what are customers asking for as far as mobile video is concerned these days?
Man, like you said, you referred to me being on the phone and on calls with dealers. I mean, it kind of goes back even further to back in retail, right? We were, way back when we started with, and we were joking about this backstage, VHS recorders and CRTs. And then as Alan pointed out in, 95 and into 2000s, LCDs became a big part of our business. And people are looking for connectivity, right? They're looking for ways to, we started with VHS and then we went to DVDs and the DVDs skipped and they scratched. And and then we went to into headrests, and we went into visors, and then we went into now we're into rear seat mounted solutions rather than, or I think we're migrating slowly as people are moving away from, hey, I have two kids, I want one on one side, one on the other, one wants to play a game, one wants to do something else. So all this connectivity that and that people are getting used to at home, like in a short period, in 20 years, I mean, even outside of the vehicle, we've gone from having no iPods, no smartphones, and BlackBerry was probably tablets didn't exist. I mean, I think the
strong Wi-Fi enough
well,
to handle video streaming in HD.
Like the iPod Nano was like 2003 or something, 2004. Like it really, in the grand scheme of things, wasn't very long ago, right? Wi-Fi, all this like music content, video content that people are streaming down. So they want to find a way to get it into whoever's in the rear seat. I mean, we say kids, it could be anybody, really, right? So I think the trend is really we're moving, I think, slowly towards mounting to the rear seat and not impeding, because now the vehicles are changing and there's active head restraint systems in some of them. There's integrated headrests, things like that. So like the 9855 that Allen was showing earlier in one of the slides, that's becoming, I think, more of a focus. And then the connectivity to get in there. So, I'm hoping that we see the video on demand, which is kind of similar to that 9855, but with the server. And Allen showed that as well. We're hoping that that's going to be the sort of the simple solution. Simple but technologically advanced solution.
It's technologically relevant solution.
Yeah, I think bring your device. Bring your own device. It's like Air Canada Rouge or whatever airline you're flying now. A lot of them just say bring your own device. You can rent an iTablet there. They're not even putting them in the seats.
No, and
then you have the server access.
Right, because
same idea.
We always talk about this, right? Like when it comes to technology and clutch pieces, a lot of the times consumers aren't aware or know exactly what's available sometimes. So in that respect, if you're talking to a dealer, right, mobile video, maybe they haven't bought mobile video in a while and they're realizing, hold on a second, there's some really relevant technology available right now. Which one of these models would you say, definitely take a look at, put it in your showroom, put it on demo?
9855, that is sort of, that's the low-hanging fruit, right? It's kind of self-explanatory. It doesn't take a lot of explaining. I think the easy transition from showing that in your showroom, the 9855, and having a customer come in, go, okay, I'm looking for flip-down video. Oh, we have that from ACCELE. It's no problem. We have it. But why don't you take a look at this? It's on demo. And then the natural progression from that is, well, like, how are you, what are you using as a source? Oh, we have a tablet, we have this, we have that, we have all this different stuff in the house. No problem. How about we just put the media in the server and you don't have to mess with any of it? And the kids can just or whoever's in the back seat can just figure it out. I think that's the money solution.
You just did the sales pitch right there. Me as a father be like, yep, look it up.
Right?
Right there. So.
I figured it out.
All right. I thank you. I picked your brain a little bit, but there's another individual I want to pick their brain, and we'll come together and kind of brain meld everybody at the end. So thank you, Ramesh.
Awesome.
All right. That was Ramesh from Importel. We're going to go from Toronto to Alberta, Nisku. In fact, I think I pronounced that right. I'm pretty sure I did. He is the technical category manager for BB Distribution. Let's bring to the studio Mr. Jaron Jelmaland.
How's it going, Ben?
I say that right? Tell me I did.
Yeah.
Yes.
A little bit of a spin on it, but you said it right.
Fair enough. I'll work on that, sir. Thank you for joining us today, Jaron.
No problem.
Great presentation from Allen. Again, I'm going to ask you to hold off your comments on the new product. We're going to talk about that in our discussion. I want to pick your brain a little bit like I did with Ramesh. Maybe a different market out your way, right? Alberta, Saskatchewan, the Prairies, BC. I'd like to hear what you have to say. What are some of the key features that you believe are important within the mobile video category gear for your customers that you're seeing?
I think Ramesh touched on it a little bit as far as inputs and options. Like a big thing that we see is different inputs. I know definitely I run into it having kids. You go for a road trip and you're like, okay, I have movies on my laptop. What kind of source can I find to put it on to get it onto the screen for the kids? So like just having those different options for your customers, whether it be DVD, they're, as much as Romesh says, they're scratched now, but plenty of people still have DVD collections, especially kids movies and stuff.
Especially my Disney DVD collection that I cherish.
Yeah. How big is it?
It's big. 3 kids, man. Like, it's pretty big, and we spent a lot of money on that collection. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
You know,
and those are always still, DVD, I think, is always still a source that's going to stick around for a while for sure. But like having HDMI input so you can use different streaming devices or streaming off your phone. USBs, definitely for sure. SD cards, everyone's got a drawer of USBs and SD cards that they go to. Where did I get this one from? Who did I get this one from? What's on this one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So having those options and availability for your customers, I think, is a big thing that you need in that mobile video segment. And ACCELE, usually, like, you see the specs that Allen goes through on all their products, and it's kind of like minimum one of each of those, right? On all of their products. DVD players, maybe not on all of them, but like minimum they do SD, USB, HDMI.
All right.
Always.
I remember I had you on maybe a year ago when we talked about video, and one of the things that you made reference to, I'd like to see anything's changed since then, is how you were a big fan of the ACCELE seatback solutions and why they're such an amazing choice for this category for dealers. Could you run us through that again, please?
I'm definitely a fan of their seatbacks. Romesh kind of alluded to it a little bit, that everything, the culture and trend of it went from definitely overhead video, and then everyone went sun visors because we could do it. So it was cool to do in your car, put a screen in your sun visor. But stuff has kind of changed. Market has changed, and having multiple TVs, I think, is one of the things that just changed it. And also new vehicles now. I know I have a vehicle with a full glass sunroof, and that's becoming more and more popular on a lot of vehicles. So it's kind of forcing people to, not forcing, but look at other options for seatback solutions. And that's definitely where ACCELE comes in with their seatback solutions. They got a few different options, and it's a universal option as well. There is other options out there, but that universal option is something you can have in your store and be ready to install for that customer a day or two later, right? It's universal clamps. You don't have to worry about active seat back systems, all that. It's clamps to it, and it has different options, and it also has different levels for different customers, right? Like, you have the customer that has the full Disney collection, but they've burned it all to USB or a hard drive. Like, that's terabytes worth of data, especially when you get into these higher quality movies, that they would be the customer for that VOD server. Whereas a different customer might be, like Romesh said, low-hanging fruit with that DVD 9855. Like, that's just a go-to piece that's just great. Installed, here you go, Mr. Customer. You have video for your kid to watch now.
And it's big.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is a big plus. All right. Jaron, thank you so much for your insight. Very valuable. I'll go put you in the back studio, and we're going to come all back together and discuss this. And, you know, what Allen showed today, there's a couple key pieces I definitely want to pick everybody's brain on. So to do that, we're going to bring everybody back in, and we're going to finish the show with a little bit of a discussion, not only on what Allen presented today and a couple of the new products, but a couple of things that both Romesh and Jaron talked about. I'd like to hear what Allen has to say. So let's bring everybody back in. Allen, again, you heard it from your customers. These are the guys that are dealing with the retailers every day. I want to give you an opportunity to kind of comment on the feedback that you've heard here.
Yeah, they're right on the money, you know, especially with the, the new sunroofs. They never seem to end. Every year the sunroof gets bigger and bigger, and there's nothing to mount to. So you're basically have to look at some other way of putting video. And of course, it's better to have 2 individual ones, because you can have 2 kids. They're not going to have the same taste to watch the same movie. You know, one's 15 and the other one's 8. They're not going to watch the same movie. So headrest, and the 2 options we have for headrest, a basic one, universal, and then VOD, video on demand. And the thing I think what's really cool, especially with the video on demand, is it's only 2-wire installation for each headrest and 2-wire for the server, and it can be anywhere in the car. And of course, you have the wireless headphones, so that's it. I mean, you don't have to go multiple wires and cables and RCAs. All that stuff is gone. And the installers appreciate that because they don't have to tear things apart and run things under the carpet. And number two, the owner of the vehicle very much appreciates his car not being torn up and running things under the carpets all over the place. So it takes care of two sides of the coin, so to speak.
Very well, very well. I want to get into some of the product that you just presented here. The first one, let's touch on the one that you were most excited about, Alan, and that is that quad mirror, that 7-inch
Yes.
4-cam system. So let's start with Ramesh. I'd like to hear what you're seeing it for the first time as well as us. What did you think about that?
Well, I think it's a solution that I think we've been looking for. Vehicles don't always offer us all the especially in the commercial realm. There are challenges to mounting things, obstructions, things like that, and quad cam, including the DVR. Right. Usually, we were doing that in multiple boxes or multiple pieces all over the vehicle. And to sort of tie into what Alan was saying about the video on demand, like that whole concept, right, is on the installation side of it for the consumer. While store owners will say, well, there's more labor in it. Well, for the consumer, the money that they were probably going to spend on labor now goes into the product, right? So with this type of solution, with the mirror, with the quad camera, we're not mounting a DVR up under a seat. We're not running all the camera cabling back up and then back to the camera because it's multiple, right, between the monitor and the DVR, and then the DVR and the cameras. So I think there's a lot of common sense to that solution. I think we've been asked for. I didn't know what it was going to be, but we've been asked for it before, and we didn't have what we needed. So this will do it for sure.
So Jared and Alan kind of framed that product for a more commercial use. Do you agree with that, or do you see it another way?
No, I definitely agree with Alan on the commercial use. Like, though we're seeing more and more of it, companies protecting themselves. If anyone's ever driven one of those big sprinters or transit vans or any vehicle like that, especially in like downtown areas, having visibility on stuff is great. And I know Toronto drivers are just the worst. So.
Oh, here we go.
Hey, there's no argument here.
Safety sells too, right? Like we're seeing so much into the category of safety that goes right into that with the commercial vehicles and safety, right?
Well, I'm going to put a spin on this, Alan. I don't know if you saw this angle, but I sit in on a couple of these type of training sessions. When I seen that product, I started thinking off-road market. I don't know if you know about this old Jeep off-road thing, but these guys love having cameras all over their car, knowing what rock they're climbing over in the front, looking at what's going on behind them, checking what's on their blind spot, recording it because they love sharing this stuff on social media. That's what I thought. I mean, yes, I totally understand the commercial side, but it's also a very unique product, even for the off-road market. Ramesh, am I dreaming? Am I crazy? That's what I saw.
Well, some Jeep friends of mine were just out in Pennsylvania sharing on Facebook how there were literally 1,000 of them in line to get into the venue at 8 o'clock in the morning, and it hadn't even opened yet.
To off-road.
It was some sort of an off-road show. I don't know if they were actually off-roading, but yeah, they off-road as well. But they're always sharing stuff, and they're always, driving 70 kilometers an hour because they don't have gearing and tires that let them go any faster. And going all over the place. They're in Timbuktu all the time, like hundreds and hundreds of kilometers away just to go off-roading. So
they're hardcore. It's a niche market. I'm not saying it's a big thing, but
I don't think it's as neat.
Inspired me about that.
Jeep is the biggest customizing. Like according to SEMA, Jeep is the largest market segment out of anything, and then after that's Mustang.
Did you ever think about that when developing that product, Alan? Or is
that at first it was the commercial. Of course, there's so many other applications. The only reason I would say it's more geared for commercial is obviously for its big size. Okay, I mean, yes, you can put that on a Jeep. You can put it on anything, but the main target was commercial. And I think we really hit the nail on the head because like we're talking about here, you don't want all these things going back and forth.
Like what Ramesh
You know,
was saying. Yeah.
yeah, and the other part is, which is, which is this. This is your connection for all your video and power to the cameras, and it all goes to the top of the, headliner and goes down, and you're done. And of course, the cameras. It's like on a commercial vehicle, as you guys know. There's multiple custom bracketed, cameras for this model Sprinter, this model Savannah, or whatever. Well, the guy doesn't want to carry all that. When the guy shows up, he doesn't have the stuff in stock. Well, with this one, all you need to do is, there's your universal camera. There you go.
Done.
Just put
Done
this
and
on the top, and you're done. And how clean is that? This is what I would want personally in my car if I had a van, other than those big things sticking out. And most people, it's so unobtrusive, you're not even going to notice that there is such a thing up there. And if it is up there, you can't even reach this stupid thing.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Right? Right? You can't get to it. And then the other part was, how do we put a camera in the front? Well, hell, look at that. You just put this right on the window, have the wire go up where the mirror is right here, right? How hard is that to screw that in? And then you can adjust the angle of the camera, right?
There you go.
And you're done.
So I'm going to move quickly. I'm going to move quickly to another product that I got kind of excited about that I didn't know you were presenting today either, and that is the Android mirroring screen.
Yes,
I think you nailed that, Alan. That I've never seen a product like that. I don't believe there's a product that exists out there like that. I think when I say you nailed it, I mean that market that doesn't want to spend $1,200 or whatever the amount of money it is for a full replacement radio that doesn't even care for all the sound quality features. Man, they just want to get their maps and their screen up on the screen, and they don't want to get a ticket for playing on their phone. Let's be honest. This could be that solution. Jaron, I'm going to start with you. Your thoughts on that product?
Yeah, it's definitely a perfect solution. There's plenty of luxury vehicles out there. I think is a huge market for it, where climate controls and everything's all built into one. And the possibility of replacing the radio either isn't there, or if it is there, it's astronomically expensive. And some customers don't want to fork out a bill for $3,000 to $4,000 just to get their maps, essentially, like you said, Ben, on their screen. Like that's all you're looking for. Like that's half of what I use my Android Auto for, is just maps, right?
100% same.
Oh yeah, especially traffic, guys, right? Yeah. I mean, I love the traffic part, because otherwise I know where I'm going every day. It's what's the best route to take today,
Especially when you live where you live, Alan. Let's face it, LA is kind of traffic prone.
Yeah, I use it all the time. Well, here's another thing. What started this whole thing on this product was agricultural equipment. Okay, it sounds crazy and stupid. We had a guy that called in and said, "Hey, I need a solution. I don't have a radio. I don't have anything in my tractor or whatever he had at that time, and he wants to have entertainment." And he wants to, there are other vehicles they have. They're not going to put them in every vehicle. It's portable. They plug it into here. They got full 7-inch navigation. They got entertainment. Now, I think I forgot to mention was it has an AV in also with a trigger wire. So you can plug in a camera into the unit. And let's say I have some farm equipment. That was the other thing. They can put it where they could see where the plow is grabbing onto the soil or whatever.
Can't see from their driving position necessarily.
Right. And of course, that could be also for a backup camera. So the guy that didn't have anything like we're talking about here, right? He can put a backup camera, bring the wire up. So whenever he gets in the vehicle, he plugs in the camera. Now he's got backup with mirroring, with navigation, all on a 7-inch screen, coming from his phone. And he, like you said, he didn't spend a fortune to do this.
Ramesh, I want to give you the opportunity to comment on this product as well. I think it's quite innovative. I'd like to hear what you have to say.
Well, I mean, I think we covered most of it. I mean, as far as the agricultural side of it, we've definitely had calls on for that type of solution. They do want to see either where they're going because there is, like you said, a blind spot. Sometimes it's also to see whether a bin is full or whether the guy the person that's following them is there because they can't literally see behind them. So there are that is for Canada, that's probably a really relevant solution as well.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, everybody. I mean, as far as ways and knowing where the heck you're going, I mean, you can't go anywhere in Toronto without running Waze. Montreal is similar. I would say Vancouver is. So I mean, most cities in Canada, like all the way from coast to coast, even Halifax. Like people are like, well, Halifax is small. I'm like, yeah, but
It's
the
hard
road
to
width,
get around
but the road widths are smaller too. There's fewer lanes. It's just as big a jam as anywhere else.
I have one question, Alan.
Yeah.
Is that unit? I'm going to assume that unit is not weatherproof, correct?
No.
Man, I'll tell you though, maybe a market, if you weatherize that, can open up a whole other thing. I'm just saying.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it could be a whole different thing. But you know what it is? It's like anything else. Once you get your foot in the door, then we can improve on it later.
For sure.
Other thing I should give you a heads up on, we're talking about, you want to see your cargo or whatever. The cargo lights that is the third brake on the trucks.
Yep.
In about 2 months from now, we're going to introduce these lights that you can change out, like on the Ford or Chrysler or whatever truck you got. And it has a built-in camera.
Ah, beautiful.
Looking down. Okay. And at the same time, it will have the multi-flash function built in. So when you brake, you can turn on or off if you want. It flashes a couple of times and then stays on. So it alerts the guy behind you.
More safety.
What's going on. And plus, it has a secondary cargo light. So you're getting three things. You get a white cargo light. You get the flashing of the red light for making it easier for people to see that you're stopping. And you get the camera that you can tie into your head unit or whatever you have, or maybe even this unit. And then you can see from there your cargo bay on the back of your truck.
I don't know, Jaron, you got any truck customers in your neck of the woods?
None.
None.
They all drive minis out there in Alberta.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Wow.
Drive the smallest cars possible.
Here comes the speed date round, Jaron. I'm going to let you final.
And they have free gas out there, right?
Final comment. In your opinion, why do you feel right now the mobile video category is more exciting and relevant than ever? Jaron, go.
I think our obsession in the 21st century with screens, everyone needs screens everywhere. So I think the car is no exception. The more screens, the better. Let's sell them all to the customers.
Beautiful. Ramesh, your thoughts?
Media, my friend. Even this is a whole new form of media. We didn't have this years ago. Everybody's got all kinds of media flying at them, podcasts and watching stuff on YouTube now, and whatever the heck, however they want to consume it, it's being given to them. So we need to be able to offer that in the vehicle because that's what people are asking for. So come and get video, watch your podcasts, and smoke your tire.
Download CMA episodes so you can watch them in the car and feed them to your kids.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, video is important. It's like visual. You see everything, and you know what's happening. I think visual entertainment is here, and what's happening is something is growing here, and that's called documentation. People are seeing the value of being able to record circumstances, incidents of people cutting somebody off, and it's a safety factor, because if you get cut off, you have an accident, and you call your insurance and they want to raise your rate, you say, hey, check out the video. I was not at fault. There's no question about it, right? You can't argue video. And I think people are seeing the value of that. And I think the main reason is a lot of people, they're short cash. They don't want to spend too much money in insurance. They keep increasing their deductibles. So if you had a 250 or a 500, they're going to 1,000 deductible. So the advent of this investment, each incident can save you $1,000 because you could prove that you weren't at fault. The other guy has to pay. How cool is that?
Exactly. Ramesh, Jaron, thank you so much for being on the show. Valuable feedback and your perspective. And certainly I know that Alan appreciates, and we do too. And we look forward to having you again on very soon.
Thanks, Ben. Thanks, Alan. Thanks for having us.
Thanks, guys.
Take care.
Great being there, talking to you guys.
All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to close out the show with Allen, get a few thoughts. I'm going to pick his brain one more time just so we get the whole scope and the whole picture here. Allen, why don't you come back in here? You know, the category is near and dear to you. We can see that. You know, you spent a lot of time, research, development, engineering, you name it. You know, investment, some wins, some losses. Everything's changed over time. And here you are. It's 2022. What is the future of this category in your mind?
I think it's just going to grow. We're going to find niches as we go on, just like anything else. Everybody every year would say, oh, the OE's taking over. They already put this thing in here, the flip down or the backup camera. There's always additions that we come up with that enhance what's there or can replace what's there with a better quality or better view. Instead of 160 degrees, you can watch 180 degrees, right? I mean, that's great for cross traffic. How many times you backed out of somewhere or came out of an alley and you can't see the cross traffic? You're afraid to go forward because you're going to be hitting the car coming across because there's a truck here you can't see. So they don't have that. So adding a front camera, you know, again, this is all visual. It's all, you need LCD monitors for that. And all these are accessories that people need to be told about. They don't even know it exists, a lot of the customers. So it's up to the dealers to have these products to show them and demonstrate to them, and then you can create the need from the product demonstration.
So the dealers need the products, and is ACCELE that product, that premium supplier that dealers need to work with, and why?
Well, that's a loaded question.
It is. That's what I do.
The only thing I can say about us is we were the first to come into the video market. I mean, we're the first with the backup camera, video amplifiers, even believe it or not, if you remember the satellite dishes that went on top of the SUVs.
Wow, that's way back.
Yeah, we were in 1998 at the CES show demonstrating the motorized, dish that followed the satellite as you're driving through the street.
Amazing.
So we're always ahead of the curve, and we try to be at least one step ahead of everybody else. And that's what gets business going. That's what keeps our dealers ordering product and looking at the next step to us is what do we do? I mean, this channel's getting, slowing down. We need something else. So we have a lot of customers that look to us to show them the way and come up with the products that will lead the way. And then, of course, that leads to more products sold and more profit for everybody, for the industry.
Exactly what everybody wants. You see the website on the screen, ACCELE.com, big website, tons of information on every product that they produce and they have available for the market. I do encourage you to check that out at ACCELE.com. And if you happen to be a Canadian shop watching this, 2 distributors in Canada to choose from, Importel or BB Distribution. Both websites are there, both great teams, great suppliers. Pick you maybe you're already doing business with them, maybe you're not. I encourage you to call them both and order one from each, I guess. That would probably be the most political way to say that. My last question to you, and of course, I want to thank you in advance for making the time today, Allen. What's your final message for dealers who might have tuned into this and maybe discovering ACCELE for the very first time for mobile video?
Well, I would say check with your people that you buy products from and always ask them what they have that's new. And that's what really, I think, keeps dealers ahead of the curve and offer the latest stuff before it's even known to anybody. Like we just talked about a couple items that's not even released yet. Well, just that knowledge, maybe the dealer can talk to his customers and say, hey, I'm going to have this thing available. What do you think of it? You got it sold. Because first of all, the excitement's all there because it's not on the market. People love that kind of stuff, right? If it's not on the market and they hear something that they've never seen before and they can't get anywhere else, they're your customer.
You heard it here. Wise words from a wise man, Mr. Arzoumanian, the president of ACCELE. Thank you so much for coming in today, sir.
Thank you for your time.
Talk to you soon. That was a great session here, getting some new product dropped on us from the ACCELE Electronics camp. Make sure you check out their website, ACCELE.com. And I want to give a shout out to both Jaron and for Ramesh for making the time and sharing with us, some insight from their perspective. On that note, I want to remind you to continue tuning in to CMA Networks. We've made a shift, as you can see. We're all about the mobile audio accessories and video category. There are some brands. This is kind of like our first grouping. We'll be doing these one-on-one every single day right through to June 29th. If you haven't already and you like these videos and you're learning from them, most importantly, make sure you check out the website, cmanetworks.com. We've done hundreds of videos covering every single brand. You can search for them by category, by brand, or even from your favorite trainer. That's it for this CMA Connected presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.
I mean, yeah, let's talk about today where I'm gonna go topics.
Roll it down.
I am.
You don't need a car to listen to Sirius XM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What? What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on Sirius XM.
What?
This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?